So good day everyone. We're back with another tutorial for our midterm output, and we are expected to have this menu form that has two menu strips. We have the employee table and employee details. Under employee details, we will have the view, add, lookup, or edit form. So for our first step, we are tasked to create a table named employee. So you can pause the video if you want. So in order for you to input this in your MySQL, we have another table named EMP-det or employee details, and these are the following data that we'll be inserting in the table employee and the table emp-det. So let's take a short while, or you can pause the video. Then we have the employee det. Okay. So actually, I've already done this in this video, and in this video I will be just walking you through what I did when I created this. So open your MySQL command. As you can see, I already have it open here. As for the database name, you can type whatever database you want, but for this output I named it midterm CSP. Under midterm CSP, I create. So we have create database. We need to create database midterm first. Then use database. Use midterm CSP. So after you type use midterm CSP, you can create the table for employee. This is a table for the employee, and insert this employee values. We have the here. Next, create table EMP-det. This is our employee details, and insert into employee det table. These are the values, as you can see here. So reminder, the ID column is auto increment, but here the employee ID is not auto increment. Okay, so after that, go to your control panel, click System and Security, find the administrative tools. You can close the System and Security and look for the ODBC data sources 32-bit. I actually have it pinned here on my taskbar, so I'll be using this. But in case you don't have it pinned on your taskbar, you can do the following steps I just showed you. So control panel, System and Security, and administrative tools. Then look for data sources 32-bit. This is to make I like to make sure that our data source is already connected to our database. So as you can see, the name of our data source is Crystal Report. So configure and make sure that under the database you have used the database that you have created for this. Then it's this database name. So in my case, I named it midterm CSP. Test and connection is successful. Okay, so after you have done creating your database and inserting the values of the following table, you have the step 3, insert a splash screen. This is for the Visual Studio. Insert splash screen. I actually already have a finished output here. So in your case, once you open your Visual Studio, let's wait for a while. Okay. You can create a new project. Windows Form app, make sure it's Visual Basic, Windows, and Desktop. Then next, you can name it whatever you want, but for me, I named it Midterm Exam. So just click Create. Once you have created that, you'll be taken to a Form 1 that only has a form. So for this one, I selected Project, Add Form. For the splash screen, I selected Project, Add Form, and search for Splash Screen. And once you have added that, this will come up on your screen. Actually, the text here is originally application title, but I renamed it as Midterm Exam. And once you have your splash screen, and you can edit the text, Midterm Exam. And on your toolbox, from your toolbox, look for the timer. We have the timer here. Click and drag that here. So as you can see, I already have my timer here. Click the timer and make sure that this section is enabled is true. Okay, it's originally false, so make sure it's true. Then the interval is 5,000. So let's see the splash screen greedy. For the splash screen greedy, click the timer. As you can see, we have the me close here. If it still doesn't have the me.close, type me.close. So after 5,000, it will the splash screen will automatically close. Next, we have to insert a login form for employee.table, which has the OK and cancel button. So go to project again, add form, then look for the login form, then click add. After you have that, you will have this design. So here you can change the color, the background image as here. Click the ellipsis, and we can use, since we don't have any resources placed here, you can click local source, then click import and find the image that you want to be shown here. But for me, I will have it as the default background. I will use the default background rather. So we did not change the name here as well. Cancel. So if you click cancel, make sure that it is me.close and click OK so we can input the codes. For the OK button, we need to declare the connection and the command first. So type this section, dim cnn as new odbc.odbc connection, and dim cmd as new odbc.odbc command. Dim n as integer. So we have cnn connection string equals to double quote dsn equals, take note there should be no space here. This n equals crystal report. If you still remember, crystal report was the name of the data source that I'm using earlier. So crystal report. Input here the data source of your database. So we have cnn.open, cmd create command, cmd.command text equals to select count from emp.det where username. Make sure that the single quote is there. Ampersand username.textbox.text ampersand and double quote, single quote, and password equals to single quote and double quote, and password.text. For those who do not know how to make this in the previous line, I'll show you how to. So after this ampersand, place an underscore. There we go, and click enter. So you can delete the underscore already. Next, we have the n equals cmd execute scalar. If n is greater than 0, then my application .login successful is true, then me.close. Make sure that your spelling is correct, because we will need it for another. We will need this part for another form. Else, username textbox.clear, password textbox.clear, and if. So you pause the video. So you can type it on your login form VB. For the next step, we need to create a menu form. So on our menu form, I'll show you first the output for this splash screen and the login form. So, midterm exam. This is the username and the password. Okay. So it's working. Next, we have the menu. So if you don't have the menu form, click add form. Or you can use the form 1. Remember, once you entered Visual Studio, there's a default form there. So you can use that instead. But if you don't have that one, you go to project and add form. Just a simple form. So you can rename it to menu. Then click add. So here I made use of the form 1, the default form 1. And on the Solution Explorer, I just renamed it to menu here. So it's easier for me to see where it is. So auto hide. So for this menu, go to Toolbox and look for the menu strip. Click and drag that menu strip, as you can see here. We already have this menu strip, and you can type the menu item. So for me, I type employee here and the employee details. Under employee details, we have view, add, and lookup edit. So in your case, you can just leave this part blank, but for me, I type welcome to midterms to make it not look blank. Next we have a menu will appear. So we've already done this. Next, we need to have a data grid view. Data grid view for table employee. So it should have the view, add, delete, and update. Okay. So after you created this, after I created this, hang on. Here, you can see, I changed the text to welcome to midterms. You can change that to whatever you want. I just placed a label there. So we need to have a data grid view wherein it should have a button for save. This is actually for save. And a label. This is two labels. Label 1 should be renamed to total number of employees, and label 2 should show the count or the number of the employees. It should also save, the number here should also be updated if you inserted a new record here. Once you inserted a record here and you click save, this table should be updated. For example, if originally here there is three records, 3 employee records, and you inserted another record here and click save, this should show 4, number 4. So go to project again, add form, and create your data grid view. Then click add. So for this, originally you will have this first, this form without the inner ones. So for this, we will need to look up the data grid. Where's the data grid? So data grid view, look for data grid view in your toolbox. Click and drag here, then resize. I did not change the name, so the default is data grid view 1. Then add a button for the save and 2 labels. Click and drag the label 1 here, then the label 2 here. For the label 1, rename it to total number of employees here in the text properties. And for the label 2, I renamed it to count. For the label 1, I did not change the name, but for label 2, I did. So this is LBL_count. For the button, this is save, rename it to save. And I changed the name to BTN_save. So first, we will have the save button. So if you click this one, wait. So click the data grid view form. Click the data grid view form rather. So if you click this, it will be transferred here. Data grid view _load. So before anything else, what we need for these following commands are these declarations. So pause the video so you can type the declarations that I've inserted here. So we have the DA for data adapter, DS for dataset, CNN for connection, CMD for ODBC command, CMD insert, CMD delete, CMD update, and PRM for parameter. You'll see the use of these declarations later on. So under data grid view, what they want is to view, add, delete, and update the records from the database that we have here. So what table will the table that we'll be using would be the employee table. So in the data grid view here, this should show. So first we already have the view. So let's have the add, delete, and update. So type CNN connection string. Remember your DSN name. Click for me, it's Crystal Report. DSN Crystal Report. Open the connection. We have the create command. And for the command text, select asterisk from employee. Asterisk so that it will show this. All of this. From the employee table. So CMD, DS clear. DA field, DS. We have the employee table here. So data grid view form data source equals ds.tables employee. Then format grid. Actually, this part is for the table to show up on our data grid. This is the view, if you will. So then we have the format grid. Next, we will have the add or insert, the insert or add command. So for the insert or add command, let's have the CMD insert. If you notice, we have this CMD insert. We have this declared. We had this as our global declaration. Here, CMD insert. So CMD insert equals cnn create command. Reminder: you can pause the video if the session is too quick for you. So CMD insert dot command text equals insert into employee. So in our employee table, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 columns. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So type all the field names, the column titles here, then values. The number of question mark here should be equivalent to the number of values of the field names you've placed here. So make sure that they are equivalent in numbers. Then PRM, we're setting our parameters. PRM, we've declared it here, PRM. So CMD insert parameters that add emp id odbc type dot int then 3. So just type this first. Remember, in this part we have the at, then here we will remove the at. So if you'll notice the values here, it's not just on a whim, okay? I did not make it just on a whim. It's actually from the instruction. See? So for the emp id, we have it the length 3, then 50 characters, 7 characters, 20 characters, 9, 3, 4. Okay, so after you've typed this, next is we have da.insert command equals cmd insert. Okay. Oh wait. CMD insert. Okay. So let's go back to our menu. Where's our menu form? So under our menu form, go to employee details. Then double click view. You'll be transferred here. So click view for type view form that show, so that when we start the program and we click that part of the menu, we will be the view form will show up. So view form will show. Okay. So go back to our menu for our employee action. Oh, okay. I made a mistake on that part. So under our menu, the data grid should be here. So double click employee, then type data grid view, the name of your data grid view here, data grid view dot show. So this, once you click the menu part, you click employee, when we run the program later, this database, this form, the data grid view form will appear. So now let's go back first So we already have the insert add command. Next, we will have the delete command. So cmd delete, reminder, we have the cmd insert, cmd delete, cmd update, and parameters. So for this delete command, cmd delete equals cnn.create command. So we have the command text, delete from employee or MID. Okay, the one that we'll use is the MID. So this is the parameters again, but for this, since we're only using one, we're only using the MID. It's the only one we have here. So it's the same length, it's still 3. Then we have the da.delete command equals cmd delete. So that's the delete command. Next, we have the update command. So cmd update equals cnn create command, cmd command text update employee. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's still 7 values. So pause the video so you can type this first. And after that, we have the da.update command, cmd update. Then, if you remember, the default total number of employees from the data grid view form should show up here on the label count. So since we did not close the connection yet, before we close the connection, type cmd equals cnn.create command equals cmd.command text. cmd.command text equals select count from employee. This will count the total number of employees. And when you click the employee from the data table, from the menu, it will show the data grid view form, wherein the default total number of employees is already shown here. So go back here. So if you remember, we renamed our label to lbl_count dot text equals open close parenthesis cmd.execute scalar, then close the connection. Okay, so if you remember earlier, we have the format grid here. So create a private sub for format grid, then data grid view 1. So type this first. How we count the table, how we count the employee table is like this. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So the first column is 0, index 0. So remember that. So data grid view 1 dot columns 0 index 0 dot width is equals to data grid view 1 dot width times 0.25. This is actually the size of each column. Okay, so then data grid view 1 dot rows default cell style dot back color. So we have the color dot beige. Then data grid view 1 dot alternating rows default cell style back color is equals to color white. Then on your data grid view form design, double click the save. So under the button save, we have da.update, then ds employee table, data grid view 1 data source equal to nothing, then data grid view 1 data source ds table is employee. We open the connection. So connection string DSN DSN is crystal report. Open the connection, create command, then select count from employee, then label count text cmd execute scalar, then close the connection. This part, if you notice, this is the same as here, but this part is for the default number of total employees. Here, once we click save, For example, we entered a new record on our data grid view on our table, and we click save. So for instance, the default number of total employees is 3 employees. Then we entered a fourth one. Once we click save, the number 3 here will turn into 4. Okay, so this codes are 4. So we close that. So make sure that you did not miss any period, any double quote, single quote if there is. So let's start it. I forgot to show you. We already have the data grid before. Okay. So just in case you cannot start the program, go to project and select midterm exam properties. Make sure the startup form is the menu. Okay, the menu form. So data grid view, start. So if you remember from the username and password here is from our employee detail. So I'm using the number 2, Rina Cabansag. Okay. But if we okay. Cabansag. Okay. So employee, we have here. As you can see, we have the default number 3, and if we place another one yes. This is the alternating colors, okay? This is the beige, white, beige, white, beige. So I'm just inputting this. Then save. As you can see, we have the total number of employees already. And if you return to our command line client, then select asterisk from employee. The new record will be there. So if we want to delete this is the update, okay? Then we delete this, just click here, then on your keyboard select delete. Hang on. No, that's fine. It's because we already have it here. That's why it had an error. Okay, hang on. Let's run the program again. So click here, then on your keyboard, press delete. Save. Then the total number of employees has been reverted back to 3. So once we select from employee again, as you can see, there are only 3 records. So since we're done with the data grid view, we'll have we need to create the empdet table, the view form. So click project, add form, then type view. Then click add. It will be transferred to a blank form. So in this form, we have I placed 5 labels. The first label here. So look for label, okay? Label. The first label, I renamed it to employee ID. The second, the username, and username here. So this particular label, I renamed the name, the variable name, to LBL_username, and the same with password. So password, I did not change the variable name. So password here, I changed the name, so LBL_password. Then we have the button for the view, text view, still the button one. And this one is actually a combo box. So under your toolbox, look for the combo box and place it here. And okay, combo box. And I renamed the variable name to CB for combo box, CB_MIB, since that's what we need here. So for the combo box, okay. So for the combo box, click your view form. Okay, before the view form load, let us declare the variable first. Declare the connections first. So CNN, CMD, CMD2. Why I have CMD2 is because I need it for the button. Okay, since if I just place CMD2, there would be an error, or this will only read this part. So CMD2, pause the video if you want. DA for data adapter, DR data reader, and DS as new dataset. So under view form load, we have the connection string, DSN, open the connection string. For the command text, we will have the select MID, since it's what we need for the employee ID. MID from EMP_det. So from the EMP_det, these 2 columns should show. This MID should show. Okay, this particular column MID, once you have clicked the combo box. So select command CMD, DA field, DS, MDET. Remember, employee details table. DR equals CMD execute reader. If DR has rows, then while DR read is equals to true, then CDMID items add. And DR.item 0. So and while, then close the data reader and close the connection. Okay, so for this to show up on our menu, go to menu, employee details, and view. Double click, then view form.show. Okay, so it will show up. So once we start this, view here. So the combo, that's the previous code was for this is the combo box. It should show the employee ID. Okay, so it's already showing. So for the view, for the details of employee ID 111, that's for the username and password to show up, go to view form, double click view, and for this one, we still have the same connection string, open the connection. For the command text, reminder, we use the CMD2. For the command text, we have select username, password from EMP_det, or MID, because that's what we need for the combo box. That's what we have for the combo box. MID, single quote, double quote, ampersand, cd.mid.text ampersand double quote, single quote, double quote. Okay, so DA select command cmd2. Remember, employee det DA field and det execute reader. If dr has rows, then if it's dr read is true, then lbl, the label, this is the label name, okay, lbl underscore username.text dr.getString0, then password getString1. This will get the information here. Okay, so close the data reader, then close the connection. So if we start that, if we run the program, okay, then view. So for instance, we have 111, then click view. It should show here. Okay, 222 view, then 333 view. Okay, so it's working. Okay, that's it for a view form. Next, we have create and add new form for the table embed and create a lookup edit form for the table embed. So let's have the add new form first. So in your add new form, click project again, add form, then add, rename it to add form, then click add. Okay, this should show up. This form should show up. A blank form should show up. So for this, since we are supposed to have the employee details, what values we have here would be the ID, employee ID, username, and password. Then we have two buttons for the add new. This is to add new record and to cancel. Okay, so it's still add form. So these are labels. I placed 4 labels. These are text boxes. Text box, not rich text box, just text box. 4 text box, and I renamed those text boxes according to their corresponding labels. So for ID, I renamed the text box to TB ID, employee ID, TB, MID, username, TB username, and password, TB password. Okay, so place 2 buttons here. Rename the text to add new and the other button for cancel. I changed their variable name. So for the cancel, we have btn underscore cancel, and for the add new, we have btn. This is btn add save, because this will have 2 functions. If I remember correctly, this should have 2 functions: the add record and save record. So btn underscore add save. So for this one, let me see the form first. Okay, so click the form itself. Then declare a public class. Public is add as boolean. Then inside the add form load, if is add is false, then TB ID is dot read only is equals to true, MID true, username true, then password true. Okay, then btn add save.text will show add new. If or else ID is true and ID to password are false, then btn add save text is renamed to save. Okay, Okay. Next we have as you can see here, it's add new. I'll change it first to add form so it's easier for me to run the project to show you. So start. Once I start that, it should show this. Oh, it's still showing. Okay. So it already showed. Okay. Now let's go back there. So I have no choice. So let's start the program. So add just a reminder in your menu form. Double click add, then add form.show. Okay, so the add form will show up when you run the program. So add, as you can see, these are disabled. So when we click add new, this will show new record. Then save. The button is changed to save, as you can see. And we can now the employee ID to password text boxes are now enabled. Previously they were disabled. Okay, so go back to your add form design, click the add new button. If btn add save is equals to add new, then it's the same, just copy this one, then save. Else, btn add save that text save, then open the connection, dmcnn, declare the connection first. So we open the connection, create command, then insert into empdet MID username password. We have these following values: single quote, double quote, MID, text, TB username, and TB password. We only have 3. We only need to show 3 values. Execute non-query, close the connection. If TB read only is true, then clear, true, clear. Then the btn save would revert back to add new. Once a record was saved, it will revert back to add new. Okay, then double click cancel, type me.close. Okay, so that's for your add form. Next, we have the lookup edit form. For the lookup edit form, we need to add a new form. So this actually doesn't have here, so just type lookup form, then click add. Lookup form, we have the lookup form. So for lookup form, place a label and a text box. The text box variable name is changed to empname. Okay, tb_empname here. Then we place a data grid view again here and 2 buttons, OK and cancel. Change the text to OK and cancel. Then change the variable name to btn OK and btn cancel. So in your lookup edit form, In your lookup edit form, double click this. Then dim CNN, declare the variables, this and crystal, select asterisk from empdet. Okay, so we have this again. Just type this. Then for the text box, we have the DS tables empdet default view that row filter. Here we will filter the names. Okay, so if we click, for example, we click R, then the data for Reyna Camansan should show up. Okay. Don't forget to declare this a global declaration. Okay. So we have public ID as integer, DMDA as new ODBC, data adapter, and DS as dataset. So for this, the text box. Then go back to our lookup form. Double click OK. Then me.id, data grid view, item, 0 index, current row index value. Edit form ID equals me ID. Then edit form that show, then me.close. So for the btn cancel, just type this me.close. Okay. So next we have the edit form. Okay, so I forgot which part of it is logged in. Here, if you remember from our login form, we have this login successful. So click project, I forgot to tell you this, and look for view application events. Then type public login successful as boolean equals false. Then sub. Okay. Then look for my application startup, my application events, then click startup. So this will show. Inside here, we will have the splash screen, show dialog, login form 1, show dialog. If login is successful, then the menu should show. If not, then there should be a message box that says incorrect username or password. Then the login form will close. So as I was saying earlier, create a new form, add a new form again from project, and name it edit form. So for the edit form, we have the edit record. If you can remember, edit record. This is actually the same as here. Okay, so I just copy and paste the details from the add form to the edit form and place another label with the text edit record. So you don't have to change the variable names anymore since you have copied and pasted it. You have the same variable names except for the buttons, add new and cancel, I think, or just the save button. So this is btn save. While in add form, this is btn add save. So here, click the edit form, declare the public ID as integer, global declaration. Under the edit form load, we have text box id.text, me.id, tv underscore id read only, then true. Then declare the CNN, the connection, the command, and the data video. So for the command text, pause the video if you want. For the command text, select an ID, username, and password from that or ID, then ampersand me.id. So while br.read, we have this get string 0, 1, and 2. So if you notice, we did not include the ID since it is auto increment. We only have this. Okay. So in your edit form, double click the save, then declare Dean. Declare this again, and under the command text, update and that. Okay. So pay close attention if you miss a single quote or a comma, single quote, double quote. Okay. We need true, then a message. Once you have updated or the record and you click save, there should be a message box that will say box that will show up and say record updated, then close. Okay. So in your menu, where's your menu? Lookup edit again, double click, then type lookup form. Lookup edit. So it should be lookup form only. Okay. Are you missing anything? That should be it. That should be it. Since we already have everything we need, let's try to run the program. So employee, we have first the data grid view. Total number of employees 3. I've already shown this to you before. So for this, save. And the total number of employees is 4. Once you click that, then you can delete it and save again. Okay, so where do I have this? Under the employee details, we have the view. So once I click the one view, it should show up 222 Reyna Cabansag, 33 Lawrence Camacho. Okay. Next, we have the add form. So add new record, employee ID. Okay. So employee ID, username, password, save. So you can add another record since the text boxes will be disabled again. So if you click add new again, it will show up. So cancel, lookup edit. So you can see we have here the newly added record. This is 16 because we have been entering record since earlier, so since it is auto increment, it will automatically have the ID number adjusted. So employee name, remember earlier we have this filter, so if I type R, it should only show up this. Or if we click A, this. Okay, so if you click OK, this should show up here. the record there, the record there will be transferred to the edit record. And you can see it here. Save. Record updated. Okay. So that's it. Okay. That's all for the tutorial. I hope you learned something. That's it. Thank you.